If this exact situation happened in Africa, the world would have a different name for it. But because it's America doing it, we are pretending it's complicated. Let's talk about Venezuela and what this moment actually reveals about power. Right now, the United States has taken decisive action in Venezuela, and global reactions are split between outrage, justification, and silence. Some people are calling it necessary, others are calling it illegal, and many are just simply confused. But here's the problem. Most conversations around this are emotional, partisan, or shallow. So instead of asking whether you like or dislike America, let's ask a more uncomfortable question. What happens when the country that writes the global rules is also the one that decides when those rules don't apply? Because that question doesn't just affect Venezuela. It affects Africa. It affects the global south. It affects the idea of international law itself. Let me put this in perspective. If Nigeria, Ghana, or any African state attempt even a fraction of this level of intervention in another sovereign state or another sovereign country, the language will be immediate. Sanctions, isolation, threat to global stability. But when the US acts, the language is different. The language changes. Now it's strategic interests, security concerns, stabilization. Same action, different vocabulary. Let's not pretend Venezuela is random. Venezuela sits on one of the largest proven oil reserves on earth. History has already taught us what happens when valuable resources exist in a politically unstable region, especially in the global south. Africa knows the story. Latin America knows the story. The Middle East knows the story. The only difference is who gets to tell the story and who gets labeled the villain. Here's where my AfrOcan-American perspective comes in. For many Americans, this doesn't feel like imperialism. It feels distant. It feels abstract. It feels justified. Because when power protects you, it feels normal. But when power is used on you, it feels different. This isn't an anti-American argument. It's a systems argument. A world where one country can bypass global institutions without consequences is not a rules-based order. It's a permission-based order. Africa should be watching this closely because every time international law bends for power, it becomes weaker for those who actually need it. Today, it's Venezuela. Tomorrow, it could be any country whose resources outweigh its influence. The real question isn't whether the US was right or wrong. The real question is whether the world still believes in rules or just in power. That's the conversation we should be having. If you value perspectives that sit between worlds, not inside echo chambers, you are in the right place.